Good morning and welcome to My Morning Misery. This is a new series that I am launching by popular request, a little bit begrudgingly, if I'm being honest. I get requests all the time like, hey, can you do reaction videos? Can you watch this content, give your reaction, give your feedback, so on and so forth. So here we are. Okay, this is what you guys wanted. I'm doing it. I really prefer the long format content, sitting down and getting deep into single subjects, particularly political analysis. But this is what you guys want. So we're going to go through this. We're going to just blind react to whatever is on the news wire. Take a scroll through Twitter, a scroll through Instagram, just whatever's on the feed. Give you guys my candid, unfiltered, unscripted reactions. So here we go. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning, by the way. So anyway, I got my... You guys have coffee in the morning? I go straight for pre-workout. It's like not even time for the gym, but I got my anti-zog mug here. Nice 15-ouncer. We're going to pour some pre-workout in this bad boy. This is what? Sour Warhead Ghost flavor. I'm going to pour some of that in the cup and go through this timeline, this viral content for you Goyim, you know? The Goyim love the TikTok attention span, 1 minute reels. And you got to give the people what they want, right? So what on earth is going on the internet this morning? Josh Hammer's mask fell off. He wants the president to film a primetime loyalty oath condemning American citizens and said it with a straight face. Josh Hammer went full Bond villain on national TV and demanded President Trump and J.D. Vance do an official Oval Office address publicly condemning Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes by name for, yes, you heard that right, exercising their First Amendment rights. He wants the two most powerful men on earth to sit behind the Resolute desk, stare into the camera, and ritually denounce private American citizens for wrongthink, because Josh Hammer has decided their speech is too dangerous for the republic. I'm not asking for much, he says with a straight face. Bro, this guy looks like Nosferatu. The eyebrows. If you guys don't know Josh Hammer, this is the same guy who, after Tucker Carlson interviewed Nick Fuentes, he went and said that somebody should neutralize the two of them. He is a staunch Zionist. I believe he also writes for Newsweek. I think he also had some involvement with Daily Wire before, obviously a Jew. So let's see what this clip says here. I'm not reading all this stuff, but let's listen to what Josh Hammer, Nosferatu, has to say.
There is some probably 2028 finagling here. JD seems to spend a good amount of time on Twitter, honestly, these days. Maybe too much time, honestly. He spends he tweets a lot, and if you spend this much time on social media, it is possible.
Well, he is vice president, mind you.
Right, and if you spend this much time on social media, it is possible that you might think as other.
Just me, or does this guy kind of have like that gay voice? It's kind of like effeminate, a little high-pitched, and he stutters a lot.
Others, like Matt Gaetz, have thought that there was a very...
Also, I got to say, by the way, please never, ever, ever wear a blazer with a T-shirt underneath it. This is one of the most metrosexual, certain words I can't say on YouTube looks I've ever seen, especially white on white. I really hate this. It's like, hey guys, I'm cool, but I'm also trying to dress up and show that I'm a little more sophisticated than the average Joe. It's like, choose which one you're going to do. Are you going to go casual and wear a T-shirt, or are you going to dress up? If you're going to wear a blazer, then wear a dress shirt underneath it. You don't even have to put on a tie if you don't want to. But seriously, you're wearing a white V-neck undershirt under a white blazer. And look, you got the book in the background, some book about Israel. Israel, and I can't even tell what that says. All right, well, anyways, he's complaining about J.D. Vance and the time he's spending on the internet.
Massive anti-Semitic, frankly anti-American constituency. So you might see some sort of kind of cynical finagling here as well. But it's not ultimately sustainable for the vice president. And it's not ultimately sustainable to him for multiple reasons, but the most obvious of which is that Nick Fuentes has come after him personally in the most disgusting terms imaginable.
He's referring to the fact that Nick Fuentes called Usha, JD Vance's wife, a Jeet, which she is an Indian. They have Indian kids. Their kid is named Vivek after JD Vance's former college roommate and best friend, Vivek Ramaswamy, who believes that Americans are lazy and incompetent, and that's why we need to flood America with third world immigrants.
He's home a fat race traitor for
He's also said those things too, but JD Vance is fat and JD Vance is a race traitor. He married an Indian. He wrote an entire book about how rural Appalachian Americans are deadbeats and that he wanted to get as far away from them as possible. And that's why he went and married an Indian. These things are just objectively true. JD Vance is fat. JD Vance is a race traitor. He did marry an Indian.
Marrying his beautiful wife, Usha, and they have amazing children there. So, I mean, I would like to see both of these men. I would like to see both the vice president and the president say something about this. I'm not asking for much.
Oy vey, I'm not asking for much. You know, I just need the leader of the free world and the second in command of the free world to come out and personally condemn Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson for their Jew hatred and anti-Semitism.
But some sort of kind of, Oval Office, sit down on the Resolute desk, looking.
Need I remind you, by the way, Donald Trump already addressed this. Donald Trump was asked directly what he thought of Tucker Carlson interviewing Nick, and he said, I have no problem with it. He said that Tucker Carlson is free to interview whoever he wants, and he said, I don't know Nick very well, but get the word out. I covered this in a vlog before. This subject's already been handled by the person you're asking to handle it. And, get over it. He didn't handle it the way you want, but it is what it is, dude.
To the camera, say something. I mean, say something about this there. I'm not even asking necessarily for JD to say I formally renounce Tucker Carlson. That's not going to happen. Okay. I mean, my expectations are realistic. I'm not necessarily hoping for something that's just not going to happen there, but something to condemn in no uncertain terms Fuentes, Groyperism, the rise of anti-Semitism, something along those lines, I think is frankly more than called for at this particular moment.
Yeah, well, hold your breath, shit in one hand, whatever they say. What is it they say? Wish in one hand, shit in the other, and see which one fills up first. Yeah, that's what I would do. That's my advice for Josh Hammer in your Metro white undershirt under the white blazer look. With your, what is that, waxed eyebrows, fat face, beard. Look, bro, you want a beard like mine? Get down to 10% or less body fat. Take the fucking hair gel out of your hair. This guy's got the rosy cheeks. Honestly, 0 out of 10 aesthetics. Just a quick interruption, a little shameless self-plug if you guys enjoy my content, whether it's the long format vlogs I put out every week, or this reaction content, or the full-length documentaries. You can support my work by going to beholdenTotruth.com and getting yourself one of these extremely aesthetic anti-Zog occupation hoodies, tank tops, sleeveless t-shirts, joggers, sweatpants, or you can head to my Substack, beholdentotruth.substack.com. That's where I drop all of these episodes in full length, uncut, uncensored, with early access. Otherwise, just be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Oh, we got our homie Rilliam live here.
Are demographically replaced as his country falls around him, as his society and nation is turned into a cosmopolitan and meaningless label. The sports cock is obsessed with wearing the name of another man on his back and watching his favorite sports game.
Yeah, bro, listen, sportsball, as we call it. Talked at great length about this one before. Really, really grating on my nerves. And this is tough because I'm a Southerner. Born and raised in Alabama. College football is a surrogate religion down here. We don't have any pro teams, so everybody pours all of their attention into the college football team. And so, I grew up watching every game of the season. It's where the family comes together. You cook ridiculous amounts of food, tailgating. And, I was in that whole world for 33 years. Didn't really know any better. Then I got red pilled though. And then I remembered learning actually in like middle and high school about the bread and circus, and then seeing how the current modern day analogy of that, rather than the Colosseum, is just a bunch of African slaves nowadays running around tackling each other. It's the same fucking thing, you guys. And then what honestly the worst part about sports ball, it's not even just the competition, the athletic competition between the mostly African people running back and forth, whether it's basketball, football, it's the commercials, the heavy-handed psychological operations that don't even hide their agenda imposed on your fragile mind for 3 hours at a time every football game. I mean, it's like, seriously, you watch 5 minutes of football, 3 minutes commercials, 5 more minutes of football, 3 more minutes of commercials. And every single commercial is some kind of pharmaceutical product, some kind of goy slop advertisement, the newest Hollywood propaganda, some kind of life insurance ad. And it's like nonstop strings of consumerism and anti-white propaganda. Usually you see some buffoon white guy making an idiot of himself, and then the really intelligent black guy comes in to tell him how he really needs to get this life insurance or get this drug or whatever. It's pretty tiring, to be honest. It's really hard for me to watch.
Nothing innately wrong with sports. Sports are a great thing. It's athleticism. It's a way by which nations can engage in diplomacy or friendships, showing alliances or sort of a cultural similarity between nations. But when we get to where we are now, this is when it becomes more than just the circuses inbred in circuses. It is truly a pacifier put into the mouths of grown babies that make up the bulk majority of our society's men.
Yeah, it really is that way, just because the sheer amount of time, like, look, if it was once or twice a week, you went and spent 2 hours watching a live event that wasn't jam-packed with propaganda advertisements, I could get that. But people wake up at 6, 7 a.m. on Saturday and watch College Game Day, and they watch 4 back-to-back football games. So from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Saturday, they're watching college football, and then they get up and do the exact same thing on Sunday. And this goes on from like August through February. It's like half of the year they spend their only 2 days that they're not working for 9 to 12 hours out of each of those only 2 non-work days watching sports ball. And then they're absolutely clueless when it comes to the news cycle, what's going on around them. You ask them anything about the demographics, the current wars going on, the economy, the spiritual situation in America. Unbelievably painful.
It's a pathology. It's placed in place of one's affiliation with nation or tribe, rather than one identifying as Catholic or identifying as American or
It's a good call. I mean, honestly, how many Philadelphia Eagles fans do you know who are loud and proud about their identity as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, or in my case, an Alabama college football fan? They wear their jerseys when they're at work. That's all they talk about with their fellow colleagues. What game's coming up next? Ooh, the big rivalry game. Are we going to make the playoffs? Did you hear the quarterback is injured? How many points did such and such score? They're building their little fantasy football teams, and they're trying to pretend that that's some kind of like actual worthwhile pursuit or investment of their time. Then they're going and participating in gambling, doubling down on the waste of their time and participating in yet another sin. It is sad because like these people should be investing in their identity as a nation. Hey, I'm an American and I'm going to be investing my time in protecting America, standing for its historic identity, or investing my time in my local church community, my identity as a Christian. You know, there's a lot of things you could be investing in terms of your identity and the group identity that you are a part of. Instead, as he says, it's a surrogate identity that people adopt for the sake of feeling that tribal instinct that we all have, rather than actually having to, because here's the thing, you don't have to work to defend being a Chicago Bulls fan. You just turn on the TV. In fact, you have no role whatsoever in the success of the Chicago Bulls or the Philadelphia Eagles or the Alabama Crimson Tide. You watching as a non-participant, as somebody who has absolutely zero influence on the sport itself, you're investing dozens of hours a week. You're investing dozens of hours a week into this team and following them loyally as a fan. You're spending your money going to their games, buying their jerseys, paying for your cable news or cable TV subscription just so that you can watch these games. You're investing all of that so you can be a part of the tribe. And how does it reward you? In 20 years, how are you going to be fulfilled and rewarded because you were an Alabama college football fan? Is it like memories of that time that you guys won the national championship? Memories of the time that you went down to Tuscaloosa and watched a game against a certain rivalry? Who gives a shit? 20 years later, is America going to look back on, I don't even know how many teams there are in each of these different leagues, each of the different sports, but will the fate of any of these different teams, how many times they made the playoffs, how many championships they won, how many records they set, what does that have to do with America's future? What does that have to do with Christendom? What does that have to do with white people in America and their disappearing majority of the country? In 20 years, all that time you invested being a loyal fan to Team XYZ, how are any of those causes, any of those far more significant tribal affiliations, being an American, being a Christian, being a white person, are any of them going to be better off for the thousands of hours you invested watching XYZ team? Of course not. This is where I'm talking about, like, it's a matter of time management. You ask people, hey, can you please just get a little bit smarter on the history of America and what made us successful? This whole myth of us being a melting pot of religious tolerance, that our country was founded by deists and it's not actually a Christian country. Could you please just revisit those subjects, educate yourself so that you can go out and defend the truth, which is that America is a white European country, has always been a white European country? Could you maybe spend, 2 hours of Saturday out of the 12 you plan on spending watching Sportsball, reading a book, read The Christian Life and Character of the Civil Institutions of the United States of America. Okay, there's thousands of receipts in there proving that America is a Christian country, is and always has been. Go read the United States Census Bureau for the last 100 years. You'll find out very quickly that America was a 90% white country for the first 350 of its 400-year existence. Go and read about the Hart-Celler Immigration Act. Put together some of the constellation of the people who voted to change these things in Congress. Invest your time in things that actually matter in defending the real tribes, not the make-believe, oh, I put on a jersey and now I'm suddenly part of the tribe of the Alabama Crimson Tide football team, who, by the way, you look at them and they're not like you at all. There's 11 people on the field. 9 out of 11 of them are Africans who don't give a shit about the white majority in America. Most of them are aggrieved towards white people in America. I watched this basketball game the other day. I was forced to watch part of it. And seriously, I think it's 5-on-5. I don't even know how many people play on basketball teams. I think it's 5-on-5, something like that. But literally 100% of the Alabama basketball team that was on the court were black. I mean, it's like, I thought we lived in a world of diversity, equity, and inclusion and equal representation. Okay, but clearly that doesn't apply when it comes to sports. And I personally don't have a problem with the best athlete making the A team. Okay, put the best athletes on the field to win the game. That's the point of the sport. So I don't have a problem with the fact that the black guys are better at the sport and that's why they're getting the game time. The problem here is that allegedly we are told there's no difference between the races. Okay, if that's true, how is it that 5 out of 5, 100% of the team are African? Do white people not try? Do white people not attempt to get on the team, to get on the first string? Yes, they do. Look at the sidelines. You can see the substitute players on the sidelines. There's a few white people over there, but clearly when it comes to making the determination of who's going to be first string on the team, it's all the black guys. And you look at the NFL and it's basically the same. So I'm not saying that white people aren't athletic, but when it comes to the obvious observation, the larger trend of athletics, black people excel in them. And I don't have a problem with that. I really don't give a fuck. Black people are on average taller and more muscular than some other races, in particular Asians and Hispanics, and they do have a slight advantage over whites. Okay, I don't care. White people are infinitely better at building civilizations and innovating new technologies and methods of government and economy. So they can have athletics. Let them be the full starting line of the college and professional teams. Let them have sportsball. Let them be the ones in the Coliseum fighting each other for our entertainment. Okay, fine, whatever. But let's not stay under this delusion that there's no difference between races. And anytime you see disproportionate representation in some field of the economy, whether it's entertainment, sports, in the corporate world, oh man, there's not very many black CEOs and CFOs and CTOs in our corporate world. Is that a matter of meritocracy and the fact that, yeah, pretty much the white guys are the ones who are leading in the technology, leading in the executive administration of these corporations, the entrepreneurial pursuits, organizing 10-year roadmaps, organizing thousands of employees? Is it more often the case that white guys are better at doing that? Just like it's more often the case that black guys are better at running longer, faster, and jumping higher? Yes, it is. So when you try to artificially impose equality and say, well, we have to not promote some of those white guys to make sure we have black guys in the C-suite positions, that's no different than saying, well, these black athletes are obviously better than some of the white athletes, but in order for us to have equity, we should probably not play our best athletes and play some of these white guys and then go out and lose a bunch of games and then everybody's disappointed. Okay, this is like why our economy sucks, is because we're under this delusion that we have to promote non-white people and women into positions of leadership and authority in matters of economics and the goods and services we bring into the market. And this is a little bit of a long rant when we were supposed to be talking about sports ball, but it's all just symbolic that everything is just a farce. It's upside down. You have people investing hundreds of hours a week into sports ball when they should be investing into their actual real tribe, the tribe of Christendom. Sorry, I'm still dealing with this episode of bronchitis for like 2 weeks. Very annoying. But they should be investing in their identity as Christians, as Americans, as white European people. Instead, they're flushing down the drain hundreds of hours into whatever sports team, and still under the delusion that they don't catch the, what's the right word? They don't catch the obvious that we don't hold meritocracy as a sacred truth when it comes to the economy and the real world of things that actually matter, such as not sports, but we do hold meritocracy to be the standard bearer line in sports. Like, give me a break. This stuff doesn't make any sense. Acknowledge the races are different and adjust accordingly.
Or European. Instead, we can identify with local teams of men playing sports, where men of past would carry the flag of their ancestors and fight in war to preserve that which they value. Today, we can carry the flag of the New York Giants, or the Lakers, or some other team of immigrants and minorities playing a game initially designed for children. All of these teams owned by, I don't think I have to say.
That's a good point, too. When you watch these teams playing against each other through the entire regular season, through the playoffs, through the championships, not only are you paying into the coffers of all of those propaganda commercials for the Pfizers and for the McDonald's and Coca-Colas and Netflixes and all those, but you are also paying the owners of the team, which are disproportionately of a certain tribe that you don't belong to, that you're just making them wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. Just like when you go see a Hollywood movie or you get your Netflix subscription,